and welcome to another episode of A Pinch of Everything. And today we are going to be talking about One Piece.
Let's go!
And it's not because David basically threatened to not record any more episodes unless we recorded another One Piece, but because I finished reading another. Wait, what's it called? Saga? No.
Volume?
Volume. No, it wasn't a volume. It was a
Arc?
arc. There you go. Another arc. Yeah. Anyway, so I actually originally had written down in my little trusty notebook, because I need to write down notes because otherwise I forgot everything. I wrote that after Sky Island, we were going to record an episode for Water 7. But David was like, I want to talk about One Piece. So we actually did. What was the name of this arc?
Long Ring, Long Land.
I know nothing. Okay. So yeah. So once again, we are setting sail with the One Piece fandom, and today we're going to be talking about Long Ring. Wait, what?
Long Ring, Long Land.
Yes, what he said. All right. So this one is a very short sort of. It's only like 2 volumes, really.
One and a half?
No, because it's kind of.
Half that.
Yeah, I know, but it started in another
previous volume?
Yeah, so it's
Yes,
kind of like
yeah,
two
like two.
volumes.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of notes, but David want to talk about One Piece again. So here we are talking about One Piece.
Let's go.
So first I wanted to start with talking about how, dude, the guy that got left behind because he was like on stilts, or like trying to like build the biggest, like the largest stilts ever, and then he's like whole, not crew, but like tribe like left him, and then the island was really weird. The concept of the island is actually like super interesting, and that Oda included this like nomadic sort of people is actually really cool as well. And but he got left behind, but then his horse stayed. That was like so cute, but I was also so sad. And it just already reminded me of my dog. You know that, well, I don't know if he waits for me because I actually don't really know what he does when I'm not here. Plus, he has other people. Like, my parents are usually here, or one of my siblings is here. So, like, my dog is never really alone for long periods of time. So, it's not like he would just be sad and lonely waiting for me. But it did reminded me of that movie. I don't know if you ever seen the movie or you just heard about it, David, but have you heard of Hachiko?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's a story about the dog, right?
Yeah, the dog that waited for his owner for like years. And then like, I don't know, I think I was just kind of like sad yesterday or something. I was in the mood. And then I just kept thinking about how, okay, so I kind of forgot what happened in the, wait, it's not a book. Why? I can't talk today.
It is a story that happened in real life. Okay?
Yes, but I saw
a dog.
I saw the movie, and then I was like, why couldn't like the family just let him like live in the house, and then he can go every day to work for his owner, and then at night he can go back and sleep. Like, his story was just so sad. I don't actually know what happened. So if somebody knows or remembers like the actual, because again, it was the movie, so it might have been a little bit different in real life. So if you guys know that real life story, let me know. Do you know the real life story?
I know the basic premise of the story, where the dog always waited for his owner in the train station for a very long time. Well, not a very long time. I mean, it was just kind of like a daily thing. And then when the owner came, they just both left home. One day, the owner dies, passes away due to natural causes, or because they're in Japan, overwork. And every single day after the owner's passing, the Hachiko, would always arrive in the train station. And he'll wait and wait and wait for someone that would never come back.
I know. So sad. Anyway, the guy did come back. in One Piece. He did come back, and the horse was waiting for him the whole time. So that's a good horse.
Best horse ever.
Yeah. So then I think I like started reading this I think in the previous episode I complained about how it doesn't end, like the arc doesn't end like at the end of the volume, and there was like another one, so I was complaining. So I read half or like the beginning of this arc a long time ago, because it's been what, like a couple of months, at least for us. For you guys, it was not
How
gonna be.
dare you?
Yeah, so I don't really remember all that much of what happened, slash I don't really have any notes on that part.
You make me cry.
But then like yesterday I was talking about, like, okay, so I started reading it again, and then the Davy back fights.
Yeah.
Davy, wait,
Davy. Like Davy Jones. Davy
I
Jones's
can't.
locker.
Today I cannot speak.
Davy
You speak
Jones's
for me, David.
Foot Locker. Davy Jones's bed.
Davy,
Davy.
Davy,
Davy.
Davy,
With a V.
with a V, Davy.
That is correct.
Anyway, so those games were so dumb.
No,
Okay.
they weren't. They are a work of art.
No, okay. So like I was telling David yesterday that I just like, the more I read, the more I identify myself with Nami, because most of the time she's like, "No, boys, stop. Why are you doing this? Why are you like this?" And like that is literally like, my reaction to like basically any time one of like the male characters does something, because I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, why would you? Like, just stay safe. Like, don't do something weird.
Listen. Why wouldn't you?
Because you could die, David. Because you could die. That
How
is a big reason.
did explorers find out that certain things could and could not kill them? Okay, they had to just do. Okay, they just had to figure it out. Okay, whether or not if that was a detriment to their health.
This wasn't. These games are not for the greater good of humanity, David.
Humanity?
Okay?
Who the hell said humanity? No, exploring, bruh.
Yeah, but like not even then. Like this isn't for like knowledge sake or for science. Like no, this is just for them to.
For shits and giggles.
Yes, basically. Poor Nami. She's probably like suffering like heart attacks left and right because of the boys doing dumb stuff all the time. Jeez.
Listen. She is not above in joining, and or also causing her own plagues of trouble. Okay.
But I understand her point of view, David. She does it for money. What do you need to survive? Money. What do the boys need to stay? She's basically their mom at this point. Just be like making sure that they have money, making sure that they're doing stuff in order to be able to afford food and like do all the stuff that the boys are kind of like, oh, that's not my responsibility. Somebody else think of it. I'm gonna go over here and do something dumb.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She does it because she also cares, and that is her character.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why yes, I understand. What I don't understand is how the boys can be so dumb. That is my issue, David.
Listen, there is a beautiful balance between strength and stupidity, okay? You have to be dumb enough to use your strength correctly. Otherwise, if you're too smart, you might use your strength in like the worst ways possible. You know, it gets to your head. But if your head is very empty, it's not going to get there. It's just going to, you know, get in front of like your brain's door, knock in a couple of times, and then if you don't need that strength, you're not going to use it.
You know what my brain is telling me right now? That you're way too deep into the fandom, and then you just like basically creating excuses for them.
How are you only now just figuring that out?
Bad, David, bad.
No. Well, fuck you.
Okay, so my next note is that, okay, so there was this one part where like or the part where like Zoro was like, Chopper, man up, stop crying. And I was like, no. But okay, so like,
But he's a pirate, Elizabeth. He's a pirate.
it's so weird that you call me Elizabeth. Like, you never call me that. Stop it.
I only do it to make you uncomfortable. I hope you know this.
It made me really uncomfortable. I was like, wait, what? Am I in trouble? What's going on? I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yes, you are in trouble.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. My whole like therapist like brain immediately went to like, I guess, the opposite direction of where it was supposed to go when you're reading manga or something. But like, okay, here's my train of thought when I read that, right? I was like, okay, Zoro right now is very much representing what society believes to be like a strong man, right? And then so he's basically, Zoro was trying to communicate to Chopper, hey, buddy, no worries. I got your back. We'll get you back. Chill out. You don't have to worry about anything, right? But he didn't say any of that. He said, man up, shut up, yeah. Like, and that sadly is the way that a lot of men communicate nowadays, because since childhood that is how men are taught or socialized to communicate with each other.
And here's the worst part. I learned how to be a man not from my own father, but from my mom. She was the one that always told me how a man should act.
But
My dad was kind of there.
but again, it's kind of like, I guess we are like, even as women, like we are social, we as well, as women play a role in socializing future generations, right? So even as women, we also get socialized into believing, things like men or boys shouldn't cry, or like you have to just suck it up, and you have to help your siblings, you have to do the yard work, like things like that, or like the way that you communicate, right? And so like expressing emotions isn't something that men are told to do at any really at any point in their life, until it becomes a problem, and then it's really hard to change your habits and to open up to other people, especially strangers, if a person is going to therapy, because you've never done it, nobody has ever told you. And then if you are in a group of friends and one of them starts talking about, hey, I just been feeling really sad lately, or like, this is going on in my life, like what would be your reaction if you were always socialized to like just toughen up and never talk about this? Will be to say that to that person, right? Like toughen up, or like instead of saying, hey, I'm here for you, to listen to you whenever you need to talk, or what can I do to help, it would be more like, oh, don't be a girl, or like don't be a whatever. I don't want to say an insult, but like that's I don't know. This is my sort of like understanding of what it's like.
When I hang out with my buddies, like this is just my perspective, right?
Yes.
In like kind of like that scenario, when one of my buddies does say something to that effect, they themselves usually ended it with a joke and a bit of self-deprecating humor, or something along those lines, or they just go like end up saying like, well, it is what it is, or guess it wasn't that important, so on and so forth. Because at this point, I'm like, what is it, 27? Well, I'm about to be 27.
Wait, I'm like, are you asking me? Because I don't even know how old I am. Like, good luck of figuring out how old you are, bro.
Listen, I may be forgetful. I forgot what I was going to say, but whatever. The point being that throughout my 27 years of life, this is how I've always seen men act. They always push away what would be considered a burden. Men act under the umbrella of, if we are a burden to people that we care for, we are failures. And all that like emotional stuff and kind of like that heavy weight that we've been living through or with all our lives is a burden. And if we like you, we're not gonna share that burden with you.
Which only serves to reinforce, that idea of like, I have to do this on my own, instead of sharing that burden with other people, right? And then so, okay, I'm not gonna like sit here and completely bash these characters, because the characters do care about each other. Like, I'm talking about like One Piece now. Back to what our original topic was, because they do, like, Zoro obviously like cares about Chopper, and he wants to bring him back, but that is sort of like how he expresses himself. But there's a difference between sort of the people that he loves or that he cares about, allowing him to communicate like that, and him not knowing how to communicate in any other way, right? Because it just sort of seemed like Chopper knew what Zoro meant to say, right? Like the meaning behind it. But also
he understood it as best as he could, and he got the message.
Yeah, but also like I just felt really bad for Chopper, because, and I was like, in my head too, I was like, no, his feelings need to be validated. He's scared. Oh my gosh, Zoro, why are you being so mean? But okay, like I obviously understand this is a story, blah blah blah, part of his
Also,
character.
they're pirates. After you dedicate yourself, you're like, hey, I'm gonna be a pirate and all that good shit. The world government is gonna be after your ass. You have to be tough enough to deal with constant like harassment from them. So if you can't do that, you should not be a pirate. Remember that piracy is quite literally the antithesis to the world government, according to the world government.
Okay. So we're gonna totally skip a whole bunch of things because you're talking about this because I actually have a note on this where they're supposed to be like lawless pirate, but they still have laws and ethics as pirates, which kind of led me again, therapist mind, to think about how as humans in general we just need to believe in something or to have values or things that we value in order to continue living because it's kind of really hard or I would say almost impossible to live a life without a good life without valuing something or having a goal or like having a people or having some sort of like internal like ethics codes or law code, right? So they as pirates they are proud of being pirates and they do they have like an ethics like a pirate law.
Guidelines.
Yeah, there
They
you go.
have guidelines, and it's based off of honor. If you're an honorable pirate, you'll adhere to most of those guidelines. If you're a sack of shit, well, they're more like suggestions.
Yes, and I totally forgot I was gonna say after this. So
Davy back fight. Davy back fight.
again, it's just so I don't understand them. I think I understand why I was dragging my feet on continuing to read this because it's not a series I would pick up on my own. Like you talk about how good it is, and yes, it is good. It is good, but it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's
Because
not like the genre that you would seek out yet.
no, because in every single thing, I'm kind of like, why are you so dumb? Stop being dumb. Make good decisions. Jeez.
It is a joke and it is funny, okay?
No. Oh, wait. Now that we're talking about this, okay, the laughter that the characters have is so dumb and can it be put like outside of the speech bubbles where I don't have to read it? I feel like it breaks my concentration and the laughs are dumb. They don't need to be included in there.
So I, as a favor to you, will cut that out so you don't have a mob of weeaboos going like, how dare you? Okay? You're welcome.
I stand by what I said. It doesn't really flow. I mean, yes, I appreciate the fact that it's each character has sort of like their own way that they laugh, and this is a manga, so like the author or the creator, writer, something creator. I'm gonna go with creator. Um, has their own style or whatever. Again, not my cup of tea.
He only did it because he thought it was funny for like, a couple of times. But then after a while, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna see what I can get away with it because he listened to their laughs in the anime and he thought it was hilarious how they tried to interpret it. So he was like, I'm going to make some weird shit. And I'm gonna be laughing about it later.
Okay, so I understand that. And yes, if you are a creator, an author, or like, an artistic person that is, putting out their own sort of like work out there, that's fantastic. Please do that. Yes. Just again, not my cup of tea because I feel like, especially with this series, like it's so freaking long and it sounds like, from what I understand, Oda knew that it was gonna be a long story.
Actually,
He didn't.
no. He was going to end it off on fighting the seven warlords or encountering the seven warlords. Like in that area, maybe pre-time, like way before pre-time skip, I believe. He was only meant to do the whole seven warlords, and then that was it. But then he got the idea of like another system that also kind of like rivals that of the world government, and the world government has to take them seriously as well. Because the seven warlords are just privateers, essentially. They are pirates contracted by the government to do, well, what the government wants them to do, essentially be the bridge between pirate and government. However, that system is obviously flawed, as we saw with Crocodile taking full advantage of like all kinds of immunities that he had.
Yes. Okay.
So what the
Okay, so he didn't plan it for it to be a long
no,
story.
he did not plan it to be a long story. He was gonna end it off there, but he had way too much fun writing, and then he made silhouettes. One of the things about Oda is that he loves making silhouettes. He would just doodle,
Of like the characters?
yeah, of characters that we haven't met yet,
Oh, okay.
and then later on he will, put an actual face person story to those silhouettes, but he can't help but draw cool silhouettes for himself.
Well, that's good, and I think that's a huge reason why this is a huge, vast fandom. It's because he had so much fun with it, and I encourage anyone, like, if you are working on something, on like creating something, but you're not really having fun, even a little bit or every now and then, I feel like maybe rethink it, because it's like, I don't know, somehow it comes across like if you're having fun, or if you're like very sincere about what it is that you're making, or you're putting a lot of effort, it comes across, because then that's how audiences are built, right? Like, it just, if the creator loves the characters, the audience is gonna love the characters. Not all of it, again, because I don't love all of them, but I appreciate the story and I can see it's really good.
There are some character designs that I am not necessarily a fan of.
Sanji and his curly eyebrow? Why?
No. You're just disrespectful.
He does
There are
not-
other characters that I am not fond of later on in the story. Once once we reach them, I'll point them out.
Okay.
I'll go like that guy right there. Fucking hate him. Ugly as fuck. I hate him. I hate him with a passion. He's disgusting. But this
Okay.
isn't gonna be until, like, I don't know, with our the pace that you're reading these chapter books. Probably in a couple of years.
Hey, I'm trying, okay? I thought I got way farther.
And
than...
I appreciate that, you are indulging in one of my, things that I personally enjoy. So, you know what? Thank you.
I'm glad you acknowledge my sacrifice. I want to connect with you, so I'm reading.
Read harder.
Wow. Jeez, I feel the love. Thanks.
Listen, that's how you do it. You butter them up, and then you tell them what to do. Now
Oh.
back to the story.
No, wait. So, like, no, because this kind of like plays into like the whole dynamic that we have going on right here. Because I just wrote Sanji and Zoro like fight like siblings, and then that reminded me. I don't think I said it in the podcast before, but I'm gonna say it now because I told all my friends because I thought it was hilarious. Like, so because we were not, well, this was even before we started recording episodes for Avatar. If you have not had a chance to come across them or listen to them, give it a shot. I feel like we really improved in the last few ones. So
Plug.
yeah. Anyway, so we started drinking tea, and a lot of it, and I kind of have a slight obsession with tea now, maybe.
You've always enjoyed tea, but not the good ones.
I feel like the more I drink, the more I sort of like have discovered like better teas, and my tea taste buds have improved in the last like 2 or 3 years. Anyway, that's not the point. The point being is that at one point I saw you like in the kitchen, like making tea.
Loose leaf tea.
Yeah, whatever. You were making tea, and like my inner sibling like competition competition like came out, I can't, like, my brain just turned off and it's refusing to turn back on. But I felt super competitive for no reason. And then I immediately turned around and I was like, David, do you drink tea every day? And he responded with like, yeah, pretty much. And then I was like, no, this is not okay. I'm supposed to be drinking more. I'm supposed to be the tea drinker of the family. I drink more tea than you. And for some reason, that is something I feel competitive about.
Yeah, what's up with that? You're very competitive in the most the strangest ways. I'm like, don't you have like more books to read or something? Like, I am out reading you, my dude.
What?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Dude, I pick up and finish mangas in extra legal websites like super fast.
You haven't been reading lately. I've been reading.
Not that
manhwas.
you've noticed.
No, I read more than you. I'm the reader of this family. Stop reading.
I don't know if you noticed, but you're only in volume 33, and
Hey,
I
that
am
doesn't
like
count. I read other
way
stuff.
ahead. In fact, I am caught up.
Hey, that's like totally cheating because you've been doing this for years, okay? I've been reading other stuff those years.
I re-picked up One Piece during high school, and I caught up within like 2 months. What's your excuse?
It's not my cup of tea.
Fuck your cup of tea. Add milk.
No.
No, wait. Have you tried like that kind of tea where they add like milk to it?
Yeah. But I only like it with Earl Grey though. Because that's kind of like Taiwanese like tea or like boba tea is supposed to be like that, but I don't like that. Milk and honey?
Yeah.
I not that I know necessarily. I know like sometimes they add sweetener because I had one the other day where it was Earl Grey and milk and like strawberry puree or something strawberry, and that was freaking delicious. And I really want to recreate that. That's why when we were grocery shopping the other day, I was like, I want strawberry puree because I want to recreate it because it was really good. But only with Earl Grey. I hadn't really tried it with like any other teas, I don't think.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you stop an argument.
Anyway, I'm the thinker of the family.
You mad,
and I am the reader of the family. Okay, I win.
See, this is the power of the middle child. I can start and stop arguments just like that.
Anyway, yeah.
Back to the story.
Yeah, I thought that Sanji and Zoro had like this very sibling-like dynamic where they were like, "Oh yeah." Like, what was the thing that the insult? I told you about it because he was so dumb because I didn't get it. For dart. Like, he
Oh, yeah,
like,
he called him a dart.
Yes, Zoro called Sanji a dart, and I was like, what?
Because he does a lot of flying kicks towards his opponents, so it looks like a dart.
Well, but the thing that you made, like, the point that you made was that he, like, gets stuck. Like, he hits a wall and he gets stuck. And then I'm like, yeah, I can see that. But again, I haven't I haven't watched the anime, so, like, a lot of sort of my frame of reference is still, like, it's really hard for me to see or to picture the fighting scenes, like, while I'm reading, because it's really weird. I'm not used to it. Usually the manga that I read is more, like, romance or
Welcome
like
to shonen.
Yeah, so, like, I'm not used to having all those
honestly
things.
In the anime it looks better.
Well, I bet.
Yeah. I do want to show you like a couple of fights left right here and there from the previous arcs, but I keep forgetting to do that.
Hey, also, when did the Straw Hat Crew become the Straw Hat Crew? Like, did somebody give them the name? Because I kind of like totally forgot.
Yeah.
Somebody else gave them the name?
Somebody else would give them the name. That's how they got their name. That's how any pirate would get their name.
Who did it?
At some point, they just started calling them the Straw Hats because Luffy's signature look is him wearing a bright yellow
understand
straw
that,
hat.
but I was like, no, because when I was reading it and like the announcer for like the Davy Back games or whatever was actually pretty funny, and I really liked him. but yeah, but he kept saying, "Oh, the Straw Hats," and then like it hit me because always like because I have some knowledge of One Piece before I started reading it, sort of like because of you and because I'm in the internet and in social media, like it's almost impossible not to, you know. So I kind of knew, the Straw Hat Crew, but I was like, wait, how did they become? Did they choose their name? Like I kind of like I don't
I
know.
personally think that that's how you become a notable person. If somebody else gives you titles that you yourself didn't actively go for, then at that point you are deserving of those titles more than the people that call themselves this or that. Because he is being given the title of the Straw Hat by other people, and they eventually just adopted that moniker. Eventually, they give him another title, and he kind of has to live up to the title, even though he wasn't gunning for that.
If we had titles like in our regular, normal,
Dingus.
boring life, you want
Dingus.
your title to be David the Dingus?
No, just Dingus.
Why?
It's the first word that came to my head.
Just think about it. Take some time. Think about it. What would you? What would your
Nah,
title?
Dingus.
Dingus.
Because if it's not Dingus, it's gonna be like something akin to couch potato.
Couch potato.
Yeah, that or like wall mold.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you went for the heroic ones, didn't you?
Listen. I am basing it off of what I normally do. I am just kind of here.
So this sort of reminds me, when I think I was making an account. I think I downloaded Pokemon Go like years ago, and I couldn't think of like a video or like a gamer name or whatever. So then I just turned to our youngest brother and I was like, "Hey, what's a good name?" And he came up with Cake Gobbler, and that has been my name in every other thing that I had to create something for, like for fun, like for video games or whatever. That has been my name. So if you ever see Cake Gobbler out there, it's probably me. But I'm attached to it now, and I was like, yes, that's my gamer name, Cake Gobbler. And it's not like that I eat a lot of cake or anything. It just sounded so funny, and I've been using it for so long that I'm
Mine's
like,
a
yeah,
bit more
that's who I
cringy
am
than
now.
that. It was Release a Kraken for when I used to play a lot in the Xbox 360. And then
That's a good name.
after that, it was like Chaotic Neutral Kraken. Because at that point, I really liked D&D. So I was like, nice. And now I'm like, what about, now hear me out, Straw Hat Kraken.
No, that's a good one. What can you
I
just,
don't even
what
care about
Captain
like
Dingus?
water mythologies or anything. Like I don't fucking care about a kraken. It just sounds cool.
Yeah, well, yours sounds way cooler than mine. Cake Gobbler.
Hey, that's your fault.
I don't care.
You could have
I
gone
still
with
like
what
it.
I said.
What was it? I don't remember. Did you remember what you said? I don't
What?
remember
Fuck
what
no.
you
But you could have.
said. I don't think I even asked you, bro. Jeez.
See? Disrespectful. You make me sad.
Oh, okay. So the other thing that I kind of thought of is when you know how throughout the whole time, like the Straw Hat Crew is basically fighting fair against an opponent that is in no way, shape, or form trying to, or at least pretending to fight
Yeah, all
fair.
the referees are like bought out because they're a part of the
Part of
fucking
the other
Foxy
crew,
Pirates.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, but it was like the games or the challenges were a lot more challenging for the Straw Hat Crew because they were
Because
basically
they're
playing
honorable.
with with a handicap or whatever. And as I was reading it, I was like, hey, I don't know about your experience or if you ever want to talk about it, that's okay. But wait, what did I say? Oh my gosh.
It's okay, you can do
Delete
it.
that part. I don't know if you might not want to talk about this, and that's okay. But that's how it feels like to like live with ADHD, because it almost seems like you're fighting against this very unfair sort of system. And because it's true, the system, education or workplace, it was not designed for someone who is neurodivergent at all. So you are fighting, not that people who are neurotypical are cheating or
Yeah, they
you
are.
know.
They build every single system based off of them and not including anyone else.
That's not like every single person. Because there's there's people out there who are aware of neurodivergent people are trying to make a difference, which is good. But also, like, that's kind of how it feels. Like every time you're like winning, bam, some obstacle that you like have to like somehow get across, it like comes at you, and it just makes life really really hard.
In a book that I completely read in the library and then later on bought and told
This
you
is
to read
this
it.
is one of those times where I kind of felt weirdly competitive again, because the one and only time in my whole life where David has actually suggested we go look at books, and he actually wanted to go look at books
To be fair, it
and
was
read a
like
book,
with colors and pictures.
it's still a book.
That is the only other way. I'm not reading regular books.
It doesn't matter, like, whether you're an audiobook listener or you're only reading things with pictures in it, you're still a reader. And that's something that I always wanted David to be, because I wanted somebody else in the family to be a reader as well, so we can geek out and read together. The one time where David actually suggested it and was actually reading, and he actually finished the book at Barnes and Noble, which he later ended up buying anyway. But I just couldn't focus, and I was like just squirming in my chair, and I was like, I'm gonna go home now because I had zero money, and I had manhwa I wanted to read on my bed in a comfortable place. And I felt like I couldn't really enjoy the fact that you were actually a reader, and like we can hang out and be buddies and read together.
So back to the book. I forgot the title of it, but basically the basic premise of the book is essentially a what would be akin to an anthology, because it's a bunch of tiny little stories, but from the
Wait,
perspective of
look
people with
at
autism.
you and your like big words, anthology. I don't even know what that means.
It's a collection of stories.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Anyways, it's a
I
collection of
swear,
stories.
I'm the reader of the family. I swear it was me. I started it. I
Shut
got
up,
him into
Mimic
it.
Cry.
Okay, that made no sense. Okay, sorry. Go on. I won't interrupt anymore.
Yeah, shut up. Point being, it is an anthology of stories put together by a bunch of artists that each and every single one of them has autism, and they were either diagnosed very early in life, later in life, so on and so forth. And it's basically them talking to other people with autism, essentially the reader, about how it feels like and how to be able to live through life while navigating life with autism. So it was a bunch of really good information from a bunch of different types of perspectives, because some perspectives I didn't even think about. I didn't even think about like the perspectives of what is it? What would it call it? Like other people that live in other cultures. It'd just be like the cultural perspective, right? That's
Yeah,
just what
other cultures,
yeah.
other
It'd be
perspectives.
the cultural perspective of these people, and the fact that they grow up in a household where respect equals essentially obedience. If you're not obedient, you're not respectful to the family or something like that, and you have to be act a certain way, which forces a mask on people with autism and ADHD, so on and so forth. So it also has like that perspective. But there's one story that immediately stuck out when you asked your question and proposed what you just said, and that was a story about like a person that is talking to another person, and the other person being allistic or without neurodivergence, aka neurotypical. They are talking to someone with autism, going like, hey, why don't you meet me halfway? I'm trying really hard to try and understand you. And they're just going on and on like that. And then you see the other person's perspective, like basically fighting tooth and nail for every little thing that makes them comfortable, and once they get to the gates of this person's like um kingdom, I suppose, they're like, why are you acting like I'm not, like you're trying really hard? I've always been halfway here. You want me to go all the way over there, and that just means that you don't want me to, you know, be me or be comfortable, etc. They haven't even opened the doors for us.
Because there is a lack of understanding. I think just knowing that someone, whether it be family member or like friend or coworker, knowing that they're autistic or they have ADHD or they have depression or they have anxiety is not the same thing as empathizing with them and fully understanding where they're coming from. Because you can say, hey, she's anxious, but still the expectations of the workplace or the family or the school, they're still the same for that person. But that person is running with everything they have, while to us it might seem like, the other person is just kind of like leisurely strolling about, like not doing much. So yeah, I can understand that. Like there is this sort of like fight, like constantly fighting to get
there
your
was
point across.
I forgot who said this, but I think it was
me.
It was someone on TikTok. It could have been you.
I am on TikTok too. It was me.
But like the thing was that it's like, oh, how does masking feel like? And then they were like, oh, how does masking feel like? Have you ever overacted or exaggerated all of your emotions and all of your steps throughout an entire day for an entire day? If you haven't, try it. See how exhausting one day is. Now imagine a couple of years.
Having to do that your whole life.
Yeah.
And then, even though you go through those lengths, still having a lot of miscommunication with people, a lot of people not understanding you, telling you
because they don't want to meet you
weird.
halfway. Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard. What we do, I know we have a lot of things to say, and I think even though these are things that have already been said by maybe other TikTokers or other creators or whatever, the more we talk about it, or the more content we create out or we put out there about our own personal experiences, it can be so helpful. So I want to like rope David into doing a whole episode just talking about sort of like our own experiences, with ADHD. So we can go back to talking about what pieces. Otherwise, this will become an episode where we just talk about ADHD.
Listen. This is your fault.
You're just gonna end it at that. I guess this is you. No. There are things I would like to take credit for. Making you into a tea drinker and into a reader. Yes, I would definitely take credit for all of that. Anything else? No.
I am a purveyor of stories. I hunt good stories.
Anyway, back to pirates and fiction.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. The one thing that I found like super hilarious is that like again, because like the Straw Hat crew was fighting with like a humongous handicap because the other team kept cheating, and even then they still like either won or were really close to winning. Like the audience started cheering for them, and I thought that was like super cool because all the pirates were like, "Yeah, you guys are so awesome."
Yeah, because like when you see someone just being so honorable,
well, I mean, no, they were like totally the underdog.
Yeah. At some point you're like, dude, I have to give like mad respect to that person. I may not like them, but god damn,
You know what that reminded me of? Like, you know how nowadays, like a lot of like movies or like books or whatever are sort of like creating these villains that have like a reason to be a villain, like they have like a goal that will be helpful for humanity, but they go about trying to achieve it in the wrong way, right? We have a lot of that, and so a lot of people are identifying themselves with like the villains more often than the heroes, because
when the villain starts making more sense,
yeah,
you're like, okay, it's kind of hard to be a hero when that guy is basically going like, hey, the billionaires are ruining our society, let's topple them down, and you're like, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, facts.
It reminded me of that, because then later on, Luffy too, he starts like laughing to himself because at the end of like the arc, he's trying to tell that one villager like, don't listen to this Navy person, and then he's like, wait, but he's kind of like the police, isn't that a good thing? And then Luffy's like, oh yeah, normally, but not in this situation. So again, yeah, I mean, this whole like series, or like this whole like journey, is everyone cheering for the pirates instead of like the police or the law, the Navy. Yeah, so I thought that was like really funny.
Really shows that the Navy and pirates are not black and white. Not even close.
Okay. So one of my other notes to myself is that I think we like in previous episodes I've talked about how there's like some things that are like super unrealistic, like Sanji's curly eyebrow. Come on, man. That, and the fact that he got the, I don't even know how to say, I don't want to say a bad word, but like, he was beat up. He got the stuffing beat up of him, and he still had a cigarette in his mouth, and I was like, bro,
Listen,
no.
Listen, he's just that guy, okay? He is a badass. So much so that he told someone with a god complex, is like, thanks, I needed a light. And then he fucking falls. Like, how cool? I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. There's just some one-liners in these stories that, oh my god, they just hit so hard. That being one of them. One of the parts from this story that I really wanted to like make mention and like kind of like put it in the forefront to you specifically is that before this
no, I just want everyone to know, because since we're not, this is only in audio, hopefully later I'll convince Ava to do video as well, but for now this is audio. But he came prepared. He looked through the thing and he has the volumes ready to show me, like he's ready for this. All right, teacher, I am ready. What would you like to teach me about One Piece?
All right, student. So from the very beginning, when Zoro was, or I believe Luffy introduced some of his crewmates, and one of them being Zoro, obviously. He was introducing them to Sanji at the time, back in Baratie. And even Sanji had heard the name Pirate Hunter Zoro. He was kind of like, not necessarily starstruck, obviously, but he was like, whoa, that guy? He had a respect towards him that he, like, even now in the story, he doesn't feel as he can kind of like measure up.
Like
there
an
are
equal.
certain
He doesn't
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
he
an
doesn't
equal
feel
to
like an
Zoro.
equal.
Wait. I think I know what you're talking about. Is it the one scene where he said like, he already saved my life once. I would rather die than have him save it again. Is that the one?
Close, but it's this scene right here in the Davy Back fight where Zoro is quite literally asking Sanji for help for the first time. He asks Sanji for help. Sanji, at this point, he doesn't really see himself to be
He's equal.
in equal terms.
Yeah.
But being asked for help from that guy, he's like, oh, okay.
Well, okay, not only that, like Sanji feeling like a little bit inferior to Zoro, but also Zoro never asked for help. He's like a manly man, you know? And just him asking for help is like
exactly.
a huge
That's
thing.
why
Yeah.
it made this little scene, this tiny little fraction of a moment, become unnoticed from everybody. It wasn't until I watched a video by, I believe, Melon Tree. I think that's her name on YouTube. She makes like a bunch of videos analyzing characters, and one of the dynamics that she analyzes is theirs. And she brought up this scene in particular because this is the first time where Zoro asks Sanji that he needs help. Because at this point, he realized if the two of them do not work together, they are not going to succeed. They are not going to be able to become stronger. Because they've fought close to each other, but not together. They haven't like done combination moves. Like one of them didn't make openings for the other, so on and so forth. they were always just kind of like in their own fights. And I find that really cool.
So I'm gonna look extra small brain from what I'm gonna say, because you gave like this really awesome answer, and I'm over here like, huh, I interpreted that as he was literally gonna use Sanji like a sword. I was expecting Sanji to be like, wait, why don't you just use my leg? Because you know he always fights with his legs. Like, just use my leg to like beat the stuffing out of the other person. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Keep to that thought.
Okay. So now that it has been proven that I know nothing. Yeah, what's my other thing? Wait, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, because you talked about like one-liners or whatever, and then we were also talking about how Sanji was like still like smoking or whatever. There is the again, like because like in this, like in the final fight is Luffy, like the both captains, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason Luffy comes out with this gigantic afro wig.
Listen, respect the Afro, okay? Afro Luffy is a power that has not been tapped fully into. We still don't know its peak. Do you understand that?
All I'm saying is that I totally understand Nami, because she's like, why? And then they were like, you just don't she was basically giving that answer, and then she's like, what?
You just don't understand.
Like, she's like, why would the afro help? And then like even the audience and everybody's like, oh, the soul of a brother, afro power. And I'm like, what? But then I started thinking about it, and then I was like, I seen a video or like a post or something years ago that said something along the lines of like, makeup, it's a woman's war paint.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can identify with that, you know, because anytime, I don't really use makeup, but when I do is when I want to slay, right? Like I want to like accomplish and like do something awesome. And I'm like, okay, fine, I can kind of understand the
And besides,
hair.
look at how serious he looks. Look at him. He is making a face that
Okay,
he has
so-
not made before.
So David will probably put a picture of this, but like, did he always have that tattoo, or is that like part of the
Oh, that was painted on.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, since when did he have a tattoo on his chest? I mean, it's pretty cool, but I was like, man, I must like really miss all the details when I'm reading.
He's just a blue burning skull. But yeah.
Yeah, so the other note that I had is that, you know how every time Luffy was like calling the other captain like Pinhead or something, he would like fall onto the ground, start crying or whatever. So that I really liked and appreciated how Oda had him as a character, because he's basically the definition of having low self-esteem, because he is insulted by like a little thing, you know, and like it completely crushes him that he was called like a pinhead, or that I think most of the crew was like, we don't want the captain like to be part of our crew or whatever, and the captain was like, oh, why?
So come on, guys,
Yeah.
I'm strong. Come on, man.
Yeah, and like, so that's basically, so whenever we feel low self-esteem, that's what we do. We usually go into the defensive. So okay, my brain's not really working right now, so I can't really give like a real life experience, like example, but I don't have to, because Oda did it for me. So basically his self-esteem is so low that he wants himself to he's basically making himself seem greater and more powerful than he actually is, because maybe in his head that will help with all the doubts and stuff that he has in his head, which really doesn't, right? Because he had won, like the announcer was like, he's won like 900 things, but of course he's won. He was cheating in every single one of them. He had a massive crew, yeah, but he cheated to get them, so he wasn't like an honorable like pirate, which is really weird to say, because that's honor, and pirating is not really what you would think. But whatever. But yeah, so he's doing all of these things to try to make himself feel better. But as we can see, it's not working. None of those things. Like, yeah, sure, he comes across as like briefly as like a really cool, powerful pirate. But then the more time you talk to him or spend with him, you realize that no, he's just a very insecure person. And I guess that I don't know. That's what I thought of. I don't want to go into like a mental health rant anymore, but yeah, that's where my mind was going. And
yeah, no, that is something that I actually didn't realize. You know, now that you pointed out, it makes total sense that he was. I thought it was always just like a gag that's just like his personality and what have you. But now that like you mention it, yeah, he really does have very low self-esteem because I can identify.
well, and also, I mean, like, look, I see, come on, brain, work.
Remember, I can cut it. You can always restart.
You know how? Wait, no. In other
news,
somewhere I either read or heard someone say that the most powerful person in the room is usually super calm. And ever since then, I don't know, I kept that in the back of my mind. And it's so true because look at Zoro. He's always sleeping. He's always chill. He's like whatevs all the time, right? And then like that Navy captain dude, totally forgot his name. That super tall dude with the ice powers. Yeah, him. He was also like, hey, he was like, I mean, not only does he have ice powers, but he was cool. He was like chill. He's like, hey, I'm not here to fight. But he's like, I mean, he froze the entire freaking sea.
Yeah.
For like a few hours. Like, so he is powerful, but he's not flaunting it. He's not making himself look cool. He's comfortable with who he is because he's aware and he has, I'm not going to say healthy self-esteem because I don't know anything about this character, but his self-esteem is way bigger than, the other captain dude. I forgot his name.
Fun fact. This motherfucker is so cool and so powerful that he rides a bike on the sea.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, wait, why does he have a bike? And then he was just like riding the bike on the ocean, like he was just freezing the water. And I was like,
that's
what
just
the heck?
a stroll for him.
Dang.
Usually pirates are terrified of the sea because or devil fruit users, that is quite literally their weakness.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's true.
Yeah.
He can drown because he can't swim.
Exactly. So one bad tidal wave could screw him over and kill him. But he's just that powerful that even the sea doesn't terrify him at all to any way, shape, or form. He's just that guy.
Oh, hey, talking about self-esteem, because I kind of pointed out people who, like, I guess have more self-esteem than the other pirate captain, the cheating captain. Yeah, but like, for example, if we look at, oh no, names, Big Nose guy. What's his face again?
Usopp?
Yeah, Usopp. Usopp is actually a very valuable member to the crew. He's always helping them. He's stronger than he believes, but he's always panicking because his internal idea of who he is hasn't really matched. Like, it doesn't really match yet, right? So he believes internally that he's less than he actually is. And that's why, probably part of the reason why he was making up all the stories and why he calls himself Captain Usopp, even though he's not the captain, right? He's trying to make himself seem more important than he is. And again, it's not really working, but he is also at the same time working on, becoming a better sort of, what is he, inventor, engineer, whatever he does, to try to help his crew, and he's there for them. So his self-esteem, in a sense,
he is the sniper. That means he is a support. He doesn't necessarily have to one-hit kill people. He just needs to get the very weak ones out of the way, out of everybody else.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to talk about a children's book that I bought at the San Diego Comic-Con because it fits. Anyway, so I totally forgot the name of the book.
How to Train Your Human?
No, David said How to Train Your Human. No, one of the stickers that I got is like really cute. Okay, so I'm gonna have David put it up on the thing because I forgot the name of the book. But so essentially, what my therapy is, or how I would therapize Usopp, is that he doesn't understand fully yet his role in the crew, right? Because and this happens to like a lot of us, a lot of characters, a lot of us in real life. Like it is super cool to be the person out there giving the speech, to be the person scoring the final goal or the winning goal or whatever. You know, those people actually look really awesome, and who wouldn't want to either be one of them or be in their shoes sometimes, you know? Of course they look awesome, but everyone else has sort of like a talent or a role to play in like a team, right? And because this is sort of like a crew, each member has sort of like a way that they support the crew, right? Because for example, Nami doesn't really fight at all. Like she's learning how to fight to protect herself and to be more valuable to the crew, but she's the navigator and she is basically their accountant as well.
Yeah, without her, they would never have passed beyond Laboon in the Grand Line. They would have gotten lost and died.
Yeah, basically. And so like she has an important role to play. Without her, like the crew wouldn't be the crew, you know? But he, at this point in the story, Usopp doesn't really understand what his role is. Like you said, he's a supporting role, but it's kind of hard sometimes to come to terms with the fact that your strength lies in supporting others.
In assistance.
Yeah, that you won't really be in the spotlight most of the time, that you are helping another person be in the spotlight. That's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. And so it can be a difficult journey, but once I hope he gets there, because I don't know anything about what's happening later on. I hope he gets there, and then he'll be more comfortable and,
See,
you know, with.
Here's the thing about Usopp.
Mm.
I didn't like him for the longest time. It wasn't until like I kind of not necessarily thought about it, but I see him throughout this journey, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck yeah, Usopp. He's the normal guy in a boat full of beasts and like just very powerful people with abilities that he could not measure up. He is the common man.
And are frankly abilities that are ridiculous, okay?
Yeah.
Like they're impossible. Like why, who, what?
Like going back to Nami, she literally was able to predict so many different weather phenomenons even before I said phenomenon.
I'm hungry now.
Phenomenon. Fucking ADHD, dude. Anyways, she was able to predict so many weather phenomenons that
Wait, I
like
don't know how to say phenomenon, but wait.
that other people just couldn't even dream of doing. Her skill sets are literally out of this world, and Usopp is like a guy that is a very good shot. Even when he was testing out the cannons in the Going Merry, he was impressed by himself that he is in fact a good shot. And it isn't until like I think the time skip where he refines that skill.
I don't. He's, jeez, I can't. I have so many thoughts. I can't even talk.
You can do it.
No, but he has so many more sort of strengths that he's not aware of because he thinks outside of the box a lot.
He's a very good strategist.
Yes, and I think because of that, the team has gotten out of like some pretty hairy situations relatively safe, because like every single arc they're just all bandaged up.
Yeah,
but that's beside the point. Like, but yeah, he's a good strategist. Like he has so much to offer the team, but he's not fully aware of them yet.
He's always thinking of failure to the point where he wants to avoid it at all costs, and that within itself is a very powerful skill if you think about it. Because if he can think of every single possible like negative solution, or not negative, what the heck, like failure that could come to the crew, and he is able to essentially slow that process down, redirect it, so on and so forth. That is very valuable.
Okay, so I'm gonna half agree with you there, because that tends to be an ability that a lot of very anxious people tend to develop, because that is
And
how.
he is very anxious.
Yeah, but that is because that is how you can plan ahead and avoid all those failures, or, unseen sort of situations. But at the same time, it can be really difficult and exhausting. I guess at the end of this, I think he just like basically just fainted. Like he was just like, and then he just like lay down. He was just so anxious. And while in a sense it can be good, it also like takes up a lot of energy, and it can also prevent you from like leveling up in your own skills, because you are constantly just trying to
Thinking
plan
of
ahead.
failure,
Yeah, so instead of allowing your sort of like your creativity to flow, right? So it can be a double-edged sword.
My unprofessional diagnosis for Usopp is that motherfucker needs to smoke more weed.
Okay.
That's why I said it's unprofessional. It's legal in California. Did you know that?
Yes. Wait. Okay, so I had another note that I really liked, and I almost want to pat myself in the back because it came true. Kinda. Sort of. Not really. But I wrote down that Robin has seen some stuff, because throughout the whole time she was like super chill and cool and level-headed, and then I was like, either that or either she had siblings, like male siblings, or she has spent a lot of time with other males, because she was like, that's just how men are, like for some times. And then over here Nami was just like me, like, why are you doing this, like just like completely losing her mind.
I like Robin because she goes with the flow. She is not necessarily the one who's up for a fight, but she's just kind of like, oh, you guys are doing that now? All right, I'll see it through. I'll enjoy it from the back. Laugh at you guys when you guys fuck up.
She's basically like an honorary bro.
She's an older sister. That's what she is.
No. But there's a difference, because you know who I thought of? I thought of Candace from Phineas and Ferb. She's always losing her mind because her brothers are doing a lot of dangerous things, but they never get caught. Like, that's how I feel when I'm reading One Piece. I just feel like, why are you? And then I'm like, I just want to tell somebody. Somebody needs to believe me that these boys are dumb. And like, why? Just forfeit. Like, don't accept the fight.Hy? This is honor. So dumb. Just save yourself. Why would you?
See, this is why you wouldn't have made it in the world of One Piece. You
Of
would have
course
died
not.
5 seconds in.
Like, I wouldn't be a pirate either. I would just be a normal peasant somewhere.
Nah. I would have the lust for adventure and then realize I am way too out of my depth and then die.
I would just be a peasant. I would love to be a librarian there. Just keep all the books. Anyway, Robin's super cool, and
There's a lot of islands. I believe there was an island that had to do with libraries and stuff.
ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
I
Wait,
think in the next arc they mention it.
right. So I really identified with I don't know what's her name. What's her name?
Robin?
No, other girl.
What?
Wait, there's only two girls. What's the other
Nami?
girl? Yes. I was just talking about her. I don't forgot her name.
Okay.
Anyway, I identify with Nami because all her reactions are my reactions as I'm reading this. But I also really like Robin because she's really cool, and also she's an archaeologist. That is a dream that I had when I was young. That I wanted to be an archaeologist. I wanted to discover a pharaoh's tomb. I really like history, so yeah, she's pretty cool. And it kind of got hinted at that maybe we'll start learning more about her in the next arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about her because
Like,
I don't really know
something
her
that
backstory
you
yet.
probably already noticed that every once in a while, Oda loves to put one of the Straw Hats in the forefront of the story and
Yeah.
basically explore their personality, their like life dream, and their their past.
Yeah, I like that. So one of the things too that I again, I was with Nami here. I was like, jeez. So one of like the really good quotes that Luffy had in this one is he said, "I won't lose a single member of my crew even if it kills me." Right? And then I'm like, bro, you are a member of your crew, man. Like, don't kill yourself. Value yourself, because
Listen,
without you, it wouldn't
listen.
be a crew, man.
It's ride or die with this motherfucker. Okay? You either live together or die trying.
No, bro. Like, you have to value your life too, dude. Like,
He does, but he loves them.
yeah, I understand, but there's different ways to show love. He doesn't have to go out there and make dumb decisions that could potentially get him and everyone else killed.
Nah, ride or die.
For the it sounds fun.
But no, yeah, as you can tell, Luffy is very much ride or die for his family, or who he perceives to be friends and family.
I mean, that's a good thing to have, but again, it kind of brings me back to the whole thing we were talking about, like how men are socialized to be, because you were saying that if we care about someone, we don't want to burden them with anything, so you take on all the responsibility and all the burden without fully understanding that that can not only backfire on you, but it can make the burden on your loved one worse than if you were to share it with them, you know, because they can potentially do something to help. So like I totally understand where he's kind of like, yes, I'm gonna give it my all to save these people, but there's different ways that he can do that. I mean, I'm talking more about like in real life, you know.
Yeah.
Because this is a story and I know he's gonna go out and do way crazier things, and I'm just gonna be screaming at the manga.
I mean, by definition, because he's a pirate, he already basically sought war against the government, just because that's how the government sees it.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like I understand that, but also you don't have to play with death, bro. Like, this isn't what is it, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Death is not your friend, man. Like, cool it. Like, make good decisions,
I mean,
Luffy.
Have you seen Zoro? He's always about to die.
He also needs to make good decisions, David. And also,
He's befriending death, okay? Later on, he'll be good buddies with death.
Listen,
okay?
Just
give him some time.
Both Luffy and Zoro need to have like a retainer, someone who like is with them 24/7, ensuring that Luffy's making good decisions and that Zoro doesn't go off wandering on his own because he always gets lost. Brother, like, don't leave the group, man.
Listen, Usopp in multiple occasions has made sure that Zoro has not been left wandering around. Everybody's job is to make sure Luffy is still alive by the end of the arc.
And that's why Usopp is the real MVP. Actually, no. I wanted to clarify that
Tony Chopper is the real MVP because he keeps them from fucking dying.
He's just so nice. Chopper is just too nice. If I was their doctor, I would be like, you all live in these cages now. I ain't like fixing you up no more. Like, you guys make good decisions or live with your injuries.
Yeah, but also Chopper is a scientist, so he's like, how much can I actually fix?
Jeez. No.
Lose an arm, see what happens.
I want to see what happens to a human body if you lose an arm. So my last note here is, it says the fact that the wig doesn't fall off, like throughout the Luffy's fight, means that the wig is a real MVP.
Listen. Afro power. Once he united with said power, it was really difficult to even, measure the amount of strength that he had combining with that afro. Now imagine if that afro was actually his, his natural hair. This entire story would have been different. I'm pretty sure Luffy would have found the One Piece within like a week.
Okay, David.
But what's the fun of, an adventure when you're just overpowered? You gotta take it slow, man. One of these days, Afro Luffy's gonna come back. I have faith in that. He hasn't yet, but eventually Afro Luffy will return.
I'm really hungry now, so we're gonna end the episode here now.
Bye.
Wait, was it? Stop it! You totally interrupted my train of thought, and now I can't think. Yes. So, I mean, that's actually the end of my notes. I really have anything. It was a really short chapter, and I am actually amazed. I mean, David is going to go and edit it, so it might not be this long, but so far it's been like about an hour and 15 minutes that we've been talking. I honestly didn't think it was going to be this long.
And you were worried.
I was worried. I tried
Don't doubt. Never doubt.
I tried to force myself to write extra notes because I was like, what if we don't have anything?
No, we had a lot to say.
Yeah.
Especially if we do it more of a One Piece. Like this podcast, the way that I'm thinking of it is essentially a way, kind of like a tool to talk about other things. If you are reminded of like some mental health stuff, well, obviously we can talk about it. This is your channel. If we are reminded about like some tangents here and there, we will use One Piece as a vehicle to get there. Because like, I'll be honest with y'all, just talking about like a story from beginning to end is fun. But like seeing where our minds lead us to every once in a while, or not even that, like just the tangents that we get into, we end up having really good conversations.
That's the ADHD talking.
Yeah, absolutely. But still,
I totally agree with you. Like doing all the side quests is extremely fun. It takes us a long time to get to the goal, but it is very fun.
But hey, we're here.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the reason why the podcast in general has now been titled A Pinch of Everything, because we do talk about a little bit of everything because our mind just goes in like all kinds of directions. And also, I forgot to complain about the fact that we don't have a chef in our family, someone who can just cook for us.
What's a chef?
Chef. Did I say chef?
You said chef.
Whatever. Why don't we have a Sanji living with us, bro?
Listen, I spent 3 years working in McDonald's and learned absolutely nothing.
But that's McDonald's, bro.
Well, that's why I said I didn't learn anything.
No, I want
It's not a good place to learn culinary skills, that's for sure.
There was this one scene when he was like, oh, Robin, how did you feel? You hungry? How's your appetite? Do you want me to cook you anything? And she said like, oh, I'll take a little coffee. And he said like, yay! He was just so happy to make food for her. And I was like, I need to meet someone / live with someone who is that happy to feed people, because I will happily eat, but I will not happily cook. I do not like cooking. Cooking's like forever. There's so many dishes and so many steps, and it takes forever.
But here's the thing, I don't think this outro is long enough.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Anyway, I'm talking about food now because I'm hungry. Okay, so yes.
That sounds like a personal problem.
You're probably hungry too. Did you eat?
Yeah.
Oh no! No, I was gonna force David to cook for me, but he already ate. Okay.
You fool.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you had fun geeking out with us and taking all the side quests today. Yeah, I mean, you can check out the other episodes that we have for the podcast. Again, we talk about Avatar, we talk about other fun things, whatever we just want to geek out about. So yeah, join us, and next episode is going to be a surprise for both you and us because we don't know what the next episode is gonna be. So yeah, stay tuned. And of course, I always post when we will be posting like a One Piece or Avatar episode, whatever it is, on my social media, so you can check that out as well, just to keep up to date on what episode we will be discussing, just to keep up to date on what topic we'll be discussing on that episode. So yeah, share this with other people because we do want to geek out. Like, the whole point of this podcast again was just for us to geek out and have a space for us to talk about whatever it is we wanted to talk about. So yeah, you can check out my social media, my website, and all that jazz. It's gonna be on the link probably. If not, I don't know, find it.
Next One Piece arc that we're gonna look into is Water 7, followed by Ian's Lobby. Or Annie's Lobby. Or anyone's lobby.
My lobby. But we don't know how long that's gonna take me. I am, challenging myself to read at least 2 volumes a day.
I thought I was gonna say at least 5 chapters. Because
Oh no, volumes is just easier for me to keep a track of.
Nice.
And so hopefully
Personally,
you won't wait too long. You won't wait. Hopefully you won't have to wait too long for the next One Piece.
Personally,
episode.
I enjoy Ian's Lobby or Annie's Lobby.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. All right, thank you so much for joining us today, and don't forget to reframe and re-enchant your life.